We all have those moments in life, right? The ones that really test our limits and leave us kind of scrambling, looking for some source of strength. But what if I told you that a complete formula for resilience, a roadmap for getting through pretty much any hardship, could be found in just one single powerful sentence? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to unpack one profound verse that offers just that.
And this is it. O you who believe, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Just listen to that. These words are this incredible mix of a direct instruction and a powerful promise, and they offer such a clear path forward. So let's break this down. Where does this guidance actually come from, and what does each part really mean for us?
So this message is from the Quran. Specifically, it's the 153rd verse of the second chapter, Surah Al-Baqarah. Now, what's so important here is how it kicks off, with that direct address, O you who believe. Right away, that tells you this isn't some vague suggestion floating out there. No, this is a personal invitation. It's for anyone who's listening and identifies as a believer.
To really get the full picture, it helps to see the source. So here on the screen, you can see the original Arabic, right alongside its Urdu and English translations. And while there's a unique beauty to the original Arabic, of course, having these translations side by side really helps ground our understanding as we start to unpack its meaning together.
Okay, so this verse doesn't just offer some fuzzy comfort. It gives us a really practical two-part instruction for when we feel totally overwhelmed. It's almost like a divine prescription for seeking help. So let's dive into the first part of that prescription right now.
The very first tool we're told to reach for is patience. And that's no accident, Its placement right at the beginning is incredibly important. But what kind of patience are we actually talking about here? Because it might not be what you think.
And this right here is such a crucial distinction. The Arabic word used is sabr, which is so much more than just, waiting around. This isn't about passively hoping things get better. No way. Sabr is an active state. It's about endurance, it's steadfastness, it's holding yourself together with grace when things get tough. It's a conscious, powerful choice that completely reframes difficulty. It's not something that just happens to you, it's something you actively meet with real strength.
And this explains perfectly why it comes first. Sabr is the bedrock. It's that internal foundation that you build, the one that lets you stand strong in the middle of a storm without completely falling apart. I mean, without that internal strength, any other action can end up feeling pretty empty, right?
So, once that foundation of patience is in place, where do you go from there? Well, the verse guides us from that internal state to an external action. And that brings us to the second tool, prayer.
The word used here is salat, which is talking about the prescribed form of prayer. Think of it as our direct line of communication, the actual act of turning to the divine to ask for help, for strength, for guidance. And by specifying salat, the verse gives us a clear structure for that action, a reliable ritual to fall back on, especially when our own thoughts are a total mess. It helps us channel that internal steadfastness into a focused external act.
So you can see how these two pillars just work together perfectly. First, you cultivate that internal state of sabr, that steadfast patience. And then you combine it with the external act of salat, of prayer. It's this beautiful synergy, inner resilience and outer action, creating a complete support system.
But the verse doesn't just stop there. After giving us these two tools, it ends with something even more powerful. It's not just an instruction, it's a profound promise.
This final part of the sentence, this is what turns the whole thing from a simple instruction into this incredible source of comfort and motivation. It's the why behind the what, It's the ultimate reassurance for anyone who follows this guidance. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Just think about that for a second. It doesn't just say Allah will help the patient or reward the patient later on. The promise is so much more immediate, so much deeper. It says Allah is with them. This is about presence. It's about divine company right there with you in the middle of the struggle.
And that, right there, is the ultimate source of strength. Just knowing that in your moment of active patience, in your sabr, you are not alone. That awareness, that can give you the fortitude to get through almost anything. It completely changes the experience of hardship from something you face in isolation to something you face with a companion.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces together now. We've looked at the call, we've looked at the two tools, and we've seen the divine promise. So how do they all combine to create this practical blueprint for resilience?
Here it is, laid out really simply. First, you acknowledge that the call is for you. Then, you practice sabr, that active, steadfast patience.
After that, you engage in salat, your direct line of communication. And finally, you find your strength by trusting in that promise of divine presence.
What's so amazing about this is how one short verse contains a complete, self-contained framework. It addresses our internal state, our external actions, and our spiritual conviction, giving us absolutely everything we need to seek help and find strength, all in one place. It's pretty incredible.
And this brings us to one last reflective question. The verse gives us a clear blueprint: patience first, then prayer. So it's worth asking ourselves, in our own moments of difficulty, which tool do we actually reach for first?